Hey, what's up, guys? Listen, earth-shattering information. Remember how for years people have been saying that one day one of these YouTube families are going to get arrested for either exploitation or worse? You guys, it has finally happened. Do you guys know about the eight passenger? Do you guys know about the Frankie family? If not, let me tell you, she has been arrested. The mom of the family has been arrested and she's been charged with child, trying not to get demonetized, so I'll just leave it at that. And here's the gag. So many YouTube viewers said they saw it coming. On top of that, her own daughter for years has been ringing the alarm bell. You guys, let's get into this. We have up-to-minute information, but let me just say this before I do. I've been saying for a while that I think there is going to be a day of reckoning for YouTube families. So many times we see so many odd things happening. Everybody looks the other way. The fact that a family, a mother and a dad, can choose to put the most intimate parts of their children's lives on TV, to be consumed, to be criticized, to be mocked, to be ridiculed. They are working 24 hours a day. They have no control over their image. They have no control over what goes on. And worse yet, they get none of the money. Now, I know there are a bunch of good YouTube channels doing good things. I'm talking about the families that we all watch and we're like, yo, something is off. This is weird. And people are like, oh my God, mind your business. You're probably hating. You're probably this. No. Where there is smoke, there is fire. And baby, this was a raging inferno. Again, the day of reckoning is coming when these kids get old enough to finally bring lawsuits up. Think about it. Not only do you not get any of the money, you have no control of your rights. Where it stands legally, when you're 18 and you try to say, I want this pulled down, I don't want my sweet 16 on, I don't want my first, I don't want this, pull it down. YouTube and the government will say, sorry, it's not your channel. Your parents consented, even though your parents were the ones making money off of you. So you can't even get it pulled down. But not only that, there's big money in those family channels. I follow a few. I love a lot of them. But money corrupts everyone. And it seems like the money was able to hide the sickness that's what's going on in the Franklin family. Y'all, let's get into this. Okay, so here's up to minute of what's going on. Ruby Frank was finally arrested. The eight passengers creator has been charged with CA. Viewers think they saw it coming. Now, this is by Lindsay Dodson. I think Rebecca Cohen did some reporting, and also Michelle Mark, but they have the most up-to-date. They said the mother behind the formerly famous family YouTube channel has been arrested under suspicion of 2 counts of aggravated CA. Now, this was shocking to many outsiders, but for people on YouTube that actually followed the family, it was not. Surprisingly enough, the oldest daughter, Shari, was the one that rang the alarm bell. Shari rang the alarm bell. And she also posted pictures of outside the house. This is a very well manicured neighborhood. This is the pictures. If you see, this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bathroom houses and 5-bedroom houses. Shari said finally. She also put, hi all, today has been a big day. Me and my family are so glad justice is being served. We've been trying to tell the police and CPS for years about this, and I'm so glad they finally decided to step up. Kids are safe, but there's a long road ahead. Please keep them in your prayers and also respect their privacy. So what were they arrested for? We'll let you know. Ruby Frank, that's the mom, is in custody. She was arrested at 9:33 p.m. on August 30th in Springville, Utah. Her business partner, who's also been alleged to run a cult, was also arrested at the time. Now, interestingly enough, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. If she's arrested for what were the charges we're about to get into, why isn't the husband? They're probably conducting an investigation because all the children are in child custody at this time. Now, according to a statement from the Santa Clara Islands Public Safety Department, one child climbed out of a window at that residence in an affluent neighborhood, I think it's Ivins, Utah, to get help, which led to allegations of abuse and her being charged with that. Now, that house that the child left from belonged to her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt. She was also arrested. Now, the victim ran to the neighbor's house to get help and asked for food and water. And the neighbor was like, oh my God, yes, of course, take this. But then while the child was eating, the neighbor noticed that the victim had duct tape on their ankles and wrist. And they put two and two together and was like, let me call the police. Seriously. When the police arrived, they found lacerations where the duct tape was so deep that the victim was rushed to the hospital and treated for severe wounds and malnourishment. Now, after that first victim escaped, there was a second malnourished victim was found in the same residence in similar physical condition of malnourishment. The second child was also taken to the hospital for treatment. Now, according to the documents, right, the YouTube mom filmed a YouTube video from the house just days before the arrest. That's how they linked the victim to her. Because they were saying, okay, so you were present in the home and you have knowledge of the abuse, the malnourishment, the neglect. Now, the official said the search warrant led to the discovery of evidence consistent with the wounds of the victim, and 4 minors were taken into care by the Department of Child and Family Services. Again, if the mother can be pointed to for being there, why isn't the father also? They are both monsters. Now, Ruby Franke, if you guys don't know, was once a familiar face on 8 Passengers channel, which followed the lives of her husband, Kevin Franke, and their children, Shari, Chad, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve. But in the last few years, they've been on like a downward spiral. Shari, their oldest child, has been the one pushing them down for good measure. The channel at one point had about 2.5 million subscribers, but I think it like in 2022 or maybe early 2023, it was pulled down. Why? Because there's been allegations that have been hounding them for the last 2 or 3 years of wrongdoing for some time. And that is what led to the downfall. Of course, the mom splintered off to a different, but even more controversial channel last year. And get this, a lot of people were like, what's going on? Because certain family members disappeared altogether. They never saw them on TV. So it's like, wait, what happened to the rest of your kids? Moreover, the Franke family faced criticism for their parenting style. Now, this rumors of CA began circulating in the summer of 2020. When Chad, that's I think their oldest boy, said in one blog that his bedroom was taken away after playing pranks on his brother and he was sleeping on a beanbag. There was even more evidence. The YouTube mom, she went and said she refused to bring a lunch to the school for her kid because her daughter forgot her lunch and she said, oh, she needs to learn a lesson. You guys, the child was 6 years old. So people on YouTube started saying like, yo, you're starving her. Again, people are like, you're distorted. You're a hater. Oh my God, biggest fan. But at the end of the day, when it comes to these family channels, and I think that's what everybody overlooks, this is not adults just being catty or like what? No. When you see someone who is a minor, and you see them being mistreated, it's always better to err on the side of reason. They're being mistreated. And a lot of people said that, oh my God, it's a witch hunt. These people are hating, but they actually were being mistreated. Okay, here's the thing. At the time, the Franks pushed back on the narrative, accusing the internet of stirring up drama and taking clips out of context, even though psychologists and parenting experts weighed in and said severe discipline of that kind, like denying a 6-year-old food, can develop a poor sense of self-worth in the child and fear of abandonment. It can also lead to children not really understanding what they did wrong and repeating the behavior, creating further strain in the parent-child relationship. The parents said that they gave their children choices and were teaching them about consequences of their actions. What is the choice with a 6-year-old? A letter from the Division of Child and Family Services in Utah, where the Franks live, said the case was closed because the claims were unsupported. Again, I don't understand in this world how bad parents are always investigated for years. But these monsters, they were like, case closed, nothing to see here. They continued posting videos on their channel for a while, but the allegations kept getting louder and louder. So uploads became less and less, and then it stopped, and the channel was removed. Now, it's unclear whether the channel was removed by YouTube or whether the channel was removed by them, because let's not forget, on YouTube, if you do a search, people have been checking their channel for years, making videos. They're all over TikTok. A lot of people said they removed the channels because they wanted the evidence to go away. Now, you would think, okay, maybe things got better. No, it got worse. The mom announced she was forming a new channel called ConneXions with her business partner. Mind you, her business partner is a licensed therapist. But she even had the therapist, which is her business partner, Hildebrand, her license was put on probation by the Utah Clinical Mental Health Counselors Licensing Board for 18 months in January 2012 for talking about a patient's pee addiction with elders at the Mormon church without permission. She called herself a therapist and she violated patient-client privilege. Anyway, that person that she broke the patient-doctor privilege. Patient-doctor privilege. Quoted the patient as saying she just lied whenever she want to further her agenda to destroy my life. Painting her. This article painted her as like super evil, super vindictive, super calculating, super mean. That's the business partner. So the YouTube mom and her business partner, that new channel ConneXions, baby, people were on that channel right away. Basically, they called it a cult. Now, they labeled it a mom support group and claims to help treat those lost and stranded in the darkness of distortion, which addictions, fear, sadness, and all other self-destructive behaviors derive from. However, people are like, stop the cap. This is crazy. It's extreme. It's authoritarian. And most importantly, it's super damaging. It made no sense. In one video, okay, the YouTube mom and Hildebrand Franks said parents should not love their children unconditionally. And she was giving multiple reasons children shouldn't be listened to and said they didn't deserve privacy. On top of that, and you know this is coming, they've also been accused of and made comments supporting them being homophobic, transphobic, racist, and ableist. Again, while they were criticizing ConneXions, they were leafing through old videos and finding more and more worrying and problematic teachings. I think that's why they actually took down that old channel, is because they were trying to hide something. Again, like I said, clips have been all over TikTok and YouTube. Some of them have millions of views, showing their craziness toward the children and the way they ran the house. Now, a lot of people that have been following the story have, they pretty much surmised that the mom's involvement with that cult ConneXions, alleged cult, is what led to their oldest daughter, Shari, literally ghosting them. People were always asking, Shari, what happened? Why'd you cut off? How come we don't see in your videos, this and that? In September of last year, she did put on Instagram that she hasn't talked to her mom and dad. or her immediate family, because she does not support the beliefs of ConneXions. She literally said, please remember, this is my real family. Despite good intentions, speculating, rumors, and gossip don't help. I'd like to ask for privacy for me and my family as we work through this difficult situation. Please know that many are working on the situation. I hope one day we can be whole again. Please respect my privacy as I work through my own healing as well. Now, and here's the thing. Let me just say this, preface that this is not a criticism to Shari. She grew up in that hell. She lived that hell. She was trying to escape, but also help her little brothers and sisters. But in cases like this, she even said that she had been calling for years and nobody was doing anything about it. I'm not blaming her at all. She did the best she could, but I wish society could normalize people ringing bells, shouting from the headset. There's all this thing about, oh, don't spread your family business. Don't do this, don't do that. When really, if people are empowered to be like, why should I live in shame? They're the evil ones. Then, like, I just think that maybe public support, we could have put 2 and 2 together. But again, hindsight's 2020, and this lady did the best she could. Like she said, she's working through her own healing as well. Now that the mom and the business partner have been both arrested, right? I think they were charged with the aggravated CA. The definition includes starvation, broken bones, head injuries from hitting or shaking, and suffocation. If intentionally inflicted, the perpetrator faces up to 15 years of prison and a fine up to $10,000. Isn't it crazy? You can steal a bag of Skittles from the local 7-Eleven and get more jail time than this. Anyway, when news broke of the arrest on Wednesday night, that's when Shari posted that stuff saying, finally, you know. Now, there are questions about where the rest of the family is. Chad, the second oldest child, is also thought to have moved out, but he hasn't posted publicly online since the family's channel shut down. Kevin Franke, that's the father, I think he's going to be in trouble next, was also involved with ConneXions, but has been put out of the public eye for several months. The specifics of why they were arrested are unknown, okay? But the police responded to an incident at Hildebrandt's home earlier that same day at 3:44 p.m. for almost 2 hours. I'm going to bet that's why it happened. Please. You guys, this is just like a crazy story, and not in a good way. It's just, you know, it's sad. I just feel like as Generation Alpha gets older, I honestly feel more and more things like this are going to start coming forward. The YouTube, TikTok has been saying this for years. And finally, it took a poor child running barefoot with anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.